did hear there's an accident that's diverting traffic, so
Yeah.
I don't know if that's holding some people up, but we have a lot of stuff that I wanna cover today, and I also want to allow for questions, hear from you as far as how your bees are doing, and make sure we have time to cover some of that, so. And Valerie has a lot of great information to go over as well. So, I just wanted to, again, thank you for coming, you know who I am, Tiffany. And I wanted to thank Marty Jones as the project consultant, wanted to thank Cards Hadley for being here too as the assistant, and of course Valerie, who I'll introduce here in a minute. And of course, a big thanks to Czar and NIFA for their funding for our project today. So as far as our agenda, we will hear from Valerie first. She will go over honey judging and how we can be processing our honey to make quality honey. This is something that I wish I would have known early on. Just because you're a beekeeper does not mean you know how to process honey. I mean, all of these things are like assumed that you know exactly what you're doing, and there's a little bit to know. So I'm thankful that Valerie is able to be here today. Also, I want to go over just a minor state of the bees as far as what a lot of people are finding right now and some solutions. We have some winterizing options. I brought a hive to show you as far as the setup I've been successful with. Some others have brought their equipment as well. I like show and tell. I think it's easier to relate. You can see, feel, touch, and figure out what will work best for you. We will also have some honey tasting. I do see some people brought some samples. And if anybody brought, did we have anybody bring any honey to be judged today?
Not that I did.
So,
I did.
you did? Okay. All right, wonderful. The honey to be judged, if you haven't put it on this table, you want them to set it on this table. And when Valerie's done, we'll go over these other things. We'll give Valerie a chance to review the honey that was brought in today. So that is the plan. So let me introduce Valerie. Valerie is actually native to actually no, it's not Cumberland County, it is York County. Guilford is York. She's a neighbor. Lucky for us because she's been beekeeping for about 11 years, and she received her certification to be an official honey judge last year, right?
Yeah.
Last year. And she is the only official honey judge in Pennsylvania. So you're here to recruit others, right?
Yes, please.
So she'll be telling a little bit about the program, but then also sharing with you, you know, what they're looking for when they're looking to judge honey and how we can improve that whole process to make quality honey. So do you want to switch over? For sure. And hand it over to you. Welcome. Good enough. Thank you. Let me get mine. All right.
Yeah, you set up,
Grab your stuff.
no, hold on.
Oh, you just. Here, open.
I'm not IT, so hopefully you got this. the, first honey judge, certified through the American Honey Show Training Council in Pennsylvania. I have a business card over there too, if you'd like to take one, if you want a pamphlet about, the history of honey shows. On my business card, one thing I wanna mention, I put on there, you know, the first, Pennsylvania certified honey judge, and it's not really a bragging thing, it's a statement for you all to read and say, wait a minute, you know, say what? The first one, the only one? I mean, we need honey judges in Pennsylvania, okay? So, yes, I am the first one, the only one, and that's, it just, you know, it's like, where is everyone else getting trained and certified, so, is this gonna just, okay, so anyway.
We're here, right?
Do I need to change the volume or something? Did that? Sorry.
You need to
Or is that
move on.
gonna, yeah, just, is that gonna do it every time? I mean, you might. Anyway, okay, the American Honey Show Training Council is really originated down south, and Dr. Keith DePlane and Dr. Ellis from Georgia and Florida are have brought the honey judge training and certification program to the United States from the United Kingdom. And it's basically a variation of the British national system, and you might have heard the word Welsh system before, but we're sort of eradicating that name out of it. It's just the national system. And the officers and judges, we have President Brooks English from Georgia, Steve Jenner from South Carolina is the vice president, Mary Clayhill Roberts is vice president. We have a couple senior judges, and we only have 31 judges across the whole U.S. And the mission is to develop and provide a uniform and consistent and standardized system to train and certify professionally skilled honey show officials. And what we're also doing is making uniform and consistent rules and regulations, standardizing the system. Because you may have gone to a lot of fairs, county fairs, state fairs, and have had different ways of the judges, you know, judging your honey. And if they may or may not be giving you comment cards and scores, but it's usually different in every case. And again, they started in 2001 down in Georgia, and they're really concentrated down south. And now we have, 15 states here. They're spreading out through the United States. And with that said, there is a honey judge training class at the Pennsylvania State Beekeepers Conference on the 15th of November on Saturday. You do not need to attend the conference to take the class, but, you know, of course, the conference is there for you to register and attend as well. But it's there for you. It's the first one here on the East Coast by the American Honey Show Training Council. I think we have 7 people in the class so far.
Can I jump in there? Myself and Michelle, who could not make it here today, did take this class last January at the Bee Expo in Louisville, Kentucky. And I know Michelle is going to be working towards getting her certification. I'm perhaps in the future will do that, but just even taking this class helped me recognize some of my pitfalls that I have done over the years processing my honey. So it was, you don't have to take the class just to become a judge. It is also to really increase your knowledge how to make quality honey too. So I just want to throw that out there.
And the honey judge's uniform, we wear a hat, and the long white coat and the short coats are worn by the stewards and secretaries. And the white coat hat is basically just symbolizes the food safety and hygiene, as well as it carries through to judging, you know, keeps everything clean and hygienic. And what is the purpose of a honey show? Is to teach beekeepers to be better producers. And the importance of that is because we're basically, a beekeeper will basically learn how to do it right for the honey show and gain confidence to master more things and make better quality products. Now, when you're submitting something for a fair or a honey show, it's a very tedious process to get something that'll win first, second, and third place. It's not a process that you would do to sell to your neighbor or whatever. However, during that process, you learn different, straining skills, what different microns will do, micron sizes will do for your honey. You know, you may have, customers that don't want any pollen in their honey, but you may have some that only want it strained once, some that don't want it strained at all. But if they do want as clean honey as they can, you will understand all these different, straining processes and so on. And this is just for honey alone. Now, there's over 100 some categories in a honey show. We don't just do honey and wax. We learn everything, photography, artesian things, sewing, quilting, lotions and potions, and I can go on. There's 100 and some categories, furniture polish and all this. We learn all this through this, training. And, the importance of becoming better beekeepers and showing, our skills at these, honey shows is, to increase consumer confidence. You know, you don't want, someone to come to a fair honey show and see a dirty jar or things floating in a jar, and we've even had ants in jars, at honey shows. We have a picture of one. And, you know, it's unbelievable what will be found in honey jars. You don't want anything like that getting the first place ribbon on, and, you know, the public walking by and saying, well, is this what I should expect from a beekeeper for honey for first class? You know, I might just go to Giant and get it off the shelf where I can see where it's nice and clean, and, you know, I trust it. So anyway, it raises the value of the beekeeper in the community. And then there's also another thing, it makes us better beekeepers, and if that's Brooks English, I love that name, Brooks, he's, down south, and he's the one that taught me, trained me. And what is an American Honey Show Trade Council? Honey Show is just one that's organized and officiated by a team. When we have a honey show, we actually have a team of stewards, secretaries, judges, and everything. We don't ask, you know, for public judges or anything like that. Everyone is part of the American Honey Show Training Council. And the stewards and secretaries are working as stewards and secretaries, working towards their certification. But we do it together. And the training, again, like I said, is just a standardized program of training and certifying beekeepers. And I'm really proud of this organization because, you know, they're, like I said, they're originally down south, but all the states now are requesting them. You know, I just got a request yesterday to go to Missouri to judge. I mean, you know, it's spreading out across the country. Everyone sees a need for someone, you know, this organization in particular, to take over the system, the judging system, to train judges, make well-written rules, and we continuously are changing the rules too, are updating them. Like one issue lately was the labels. We used to have labels in the honey show. Well, you know, every state has a different requirement for labels, so, you know, we've had complaints that whoever won first place wasn't per this state, you know, so there's no way to really judge that, so we have to eliminate things that just are not fair. We basically had labels there just to see who had the most clever label or whatever, and in the rules, we did not state it's per the regulation, but because of the complaints and the issues, we eliminated that from the honey show. So we're continuously changing verbiage and everything in these rules to make them more fair to people and more understandable and everything. And, you know, if you go to other honey shows and fairs, the rules are 3 1-pound jars of honey, you know, 3 wax candle roll, you know, I mean, there aren't, you know, so if you go to those shows and you don't get feedback or even a grading system, you don't know what they're looking for, and that's like a major complaint of beekeepers is, I don't submit exhibits because I don't know what they're looking for. You know, I see someone get a first place that, you know, I see all kinds of things wrong, I don't understand. So anyway, but to become a certified honey judge, you complete the introductory training, and it's a full day on Saturday at the Penn State. But wherever, you know, all the states now are having this training eventually, so you'll be able to pick it up at some point. They have them down south all the time as well. But you have to serve as a judge's steward at 3 shows and a secretary at 2 shows during your process of becoming a certified judge. It takes like a year and a half. There's some travel involved. There'll be less travel involved extensive travel involved when we have more honey shows in Pennsylvania. Now, you need to win at least 50 prize points, in other words, ribbons at fairs, and they have to be the American Honey Show Training Council fairs. And the reason is that, you know, no one should be judging honey or wax or any of these products, any of these 100 and so products without already winning a ribbon. So you should have already been submitted with a ribbon, makes sense, you know, but when you ask, you know, there's an awful lot of people out there that are making judgments and trying to, you know, that happen, don't happen. Anyway, you compile a portfolio. The advanced training course, was on the website there. I'm not sure exactly what you meant by that, but you do need to, pass an oral exam, and, we have a honey judge, kit, that has maybe, 35, pieces of equipment in it, and you need to do, an exam for that too, going through the piece of equipment and telling the judges what, you know, what you do with each one. And if anyone does in Pennsylvania is near me, or, you know, you can email me, or anything, if anybody is interested in that, you can email me at any time. I could even give you the pre-test, you know, so you wouldn't have to worry about any of that. And when I started this, process, it was really hard to figure out how to do it, because, you know, back then they only had like 50 people in the program. Now they have like 300. We just had a judges training in North Carolina. We're gonna have that every year now, for extra training, and we had 70 people there or something, so it's growing substantially. So anyway, why bother? Well, it gives you another, skill set, you know, like master beekeeper, and to mention that too, a lot of master beekeeping programs, have a requirement in there that you need to get ribbons for, numerous, different exhibits and fairs. I'm not sure if they all do, but I have seen a lot of them that have. And, some of the main points of the training is just professionalism, train to be deliberate, precise. You have to make judgments and then substantiate your judgments. Again, it's not like a fair honey, show that you're used to. The judges, in this, after we judge, they have the honey show open, and the judges stand there, and they're there for you to come up and say, you know, hey, why did you give me this, or tell me what I can do better and everything. We're right there, you know, so you have to be able to, as a judge, be able to respond to, questions or issues. And, you know, like I said, we have a standardized judging kit. There's not too much to say about that. We do not use polariscopes, because there's no standardized polariscope. There's only handmade ones. So, and, in this training, they bring numerous polariscopes and show you how different, the honey is seen through these polariscopes. And the thing is, there's no training for the polariscope. So whoever's using the polariscope needs to be trained to know what they're looking at. So that's an issue. So, we don't use polariscopes, but we use this big pro, you know, we all want the same things. All the people that are judging, we want to see that the honey, beeswax, and other products are wholesome and good quality. And the American Honey Show Training Council is really looking for, industry standards, cleanliness, consistency. Consistency means, like, if you're asked to bring 3 jars of honey in, they want to see each jar exactly the same, you know, of the same quality. And that's just showing that you can do it over and over again. And the same thing for candles or anything like that. And then confirmation is just following the rules. The rules are a really big thing. You really need to learn how to read and follow the rules. They're really not hard at all, but you have to read them. You have to read the specifics. Now, judges evaluate the liquid honey on the cleanliness of the jar and lid. I'm going to get into more of this in a little bit. The correct fill level, the clarity of the honey, and the moisture content. And now we, you know, a lot of judges give extra points you might see in fairs and so on, honey shows, for lower moisture level. Now, we don't believe in that. It's 18.6 or lower is the moisture level that's acceptable. There isn't any scientific evidence that says that anything lower than 18.6 makes better honey. There's just nothing. So, you know, getting extra points for the lower, you know, and see, our judges go all across the country. They were at Apollonia and all over the world, and they know that different locations, like in Florida, is just generally always going to have a higher moisture content for any type of their honey. So it's not so like I said, it's 18.6, we check for, fermentation is basically the big thing. If we check for viscosity, and if the viscosity just runs off, the honey just runs off, then we know it's high moisture. We'll check it with the, we'll check the moisture content, but we don't check it even, we don't even check it if, the viscosity is thick and, there is no fermentation. And, now, again, some other, ways that you might have seen your honey, judged is on the 100-point scale, but we do overall confirmation. In other words, if, a jar has, bubbles in, it has bubbles, it's out. If it has crystals in, it has crystals, it's out. It's not 1 to 20, you know, like, how do you judge that? Like, 10 crystals is 5 or 7, you know, it's out. It's just, yeah, so, and this is sort of proof that there's a lot of, there's no uniformity. In other words, Wisconsin, Illinois, they all have different ideas of what is more important to grade, the, honey. And, also, we judge against the field, we judge against the standard, not the field. Now, you'll have, in the fairs and so on, you'll have your, honey judged mostly against the field. Like, if you have enough competition, if you have 5, let's say, you'll get first, second, and third. Well, the first is the best one out of the 5, and the second place is the second out of the 5. We, judge against the standard, so if you were to go to the Pennsylvania State Beekeepers, Convention, and I hope you all do, and I hope you all submit something to the honey show, but if you do, you're going to be judged against a, standard, not the field. So you may see, you know, no matter what category it is, you may not see a first place, you might not see a second place, you might not see a third place, it depends, you know, so, but you don't see 2 firsts. See, so what it is we figure out who is first, second, and third by the field of those firsts. In other words, you know, if, you know, you're not gonna see, like I said, more than 1 first. If there's 2 that are first place, we will re-look at them and we'll find something to put them in second, you know, and third. And there's usually very difference in the outcome,